Before we get started with the video, I just want to preface by saying that too much of anything is bad. This video isn't meant to condone anybody to just sit in front of a computer or a TV all day. Like, that's not what it is at all. This also isn't a video essay. I just wanted to talk about the ways in which video games have helped me kind of keep up with some habits that I have struggled with in the past. So it's just personal experiences. Like, I'm not gonna just throw around a bunch of scholarly articles. These are actual things that have helped me. With that out of the way, let's get into it. Have you ever noticed that when people talk about unhealthy habits, one of the things at the top of the list is always video games? I know that we get kind of a bad rap, as people that play video games, or as gamers, if you will. I don't know why I feel weird saying that. It feels like a meme now. Even when you talk about it as like a hobby, especially when you're getting older, if you respond with, I like to play video games, they kind of look at you like, oh, okay. Like, they kind of look at you weird, which I've always found kind of funny because it's always the same people that like to binge TV shows or movies. So like, what is the difference? And yeah, I get it. If you start ignoring responsibilities and you start just, if that's all you do, yeah, obviously that's not good. That's not a good habit to have. Even if you are able to be lucky enough to do it for a job, you still have other things that you need to address, right? But there are some good things that can come from it aside from just relaxing and bonding with friends. One of the first habits that video games have helped me kind of stay on top of is exercising. Working out is already hard enough. I find getting up in the morning and forcing myself to work out doesn't really, no pun intended, work out for me. Also, when I get off work, I work from home, but even then I get off of work and the last thing on my mind is working out. And that sucks because I do genuinely enjoy it. There are a lot of good things that come from it. You have more energy. You don't feel like shit all the time. A couple of weeks ago, I was making my way down to my totally not janky and bare bones home gym. And when I got down there, I stared at my rowing machine and I just like immediately wanted to go back upstairs. There's nothing that I wanted to do more than just go to my living room, throw on my favorite YouTuber and just relax. But then I looked in the corner and I saw my Oculus, and so I booted that sucker up and I actually ended up, if you can call it, working out for about an hour. I started by doing some virtual climbing on the Climb 2, and that's actually really fun. You do outdoor levels, you can do indoor levels. It actually ended up being a really good workout for my shoulders, and it kind of made me sweat a little bit, and not just because I'm scared of heights. And I'll also say that when I first played that game, it actually motivated me in a way to go and try climbing in real life. I went and did some bouldering at a local climbing gym, and I actually thought it was a lot of fun, so I might even go back and do that. But it kind of was that first step for me. And then I followed up the climb with Swordsman VR, and I just did some fencing and some sword fighting, and that was really fun. My camera unfocused. It actually got my heart rate going, and it actually like made me break a sweat. I was huffing and puffing after that, and it was awesome. I feel like I just tricked myself into working out by pretending like I was this expert climber and by pretending I was this master fencer. And the best thing about working out with video games is that you don't really need a VR headset. Like, these things have been around for a while now. If you guys remember the Wii Sports was awesome. The boxing game on that and the fucking little sword fighting thing even on that game was so much fun. And I always remember getting a little tired from it. So if you have one of those bad boys, you can always boot that up. I know that the Switch has the Ring Fit Adventure. I personally have never done that one. I've never tried that game, but I've seen gameplay and it looks fun. If you want to get real old school, you can also just go to your like local arcade and play Dance Dance Revolution. I have a friend who's a fucking monster on that thing. I tried playing against him. I got cooked, but holy shit was I sweating after that. I feel like there are just so many ways that you can work out today, and I think that it's only getting better, which is really good to see. Habit number 2 is sleep. This one might seem like a little bit of a stretch, but like I said, it's just something that I've noticed in my behaviors and my habits. And this is one that I kind of started experiencing more during the pandemic because that's when Animal Crossing came out, and that's the main game I'm going to focus for this section. I know that the most obvious thing that might come to mind is that Pokemon Sleep app. I think I downloaded it and used it for one night, but then just kind of forgot about it. I'm not good at keeping up with those kinds of apps anyway. Obviously, check it out and see if it works for you, if this is something that you are wanting to do, improve your sleep schedule. But games like Animal Crossing and those other cozy games that specifically rely on a real-time like day-night cycle have been a great way for me to kind of switch off and kind of go to sleep at a reasonable hour. But with these games specifically, there's only, a set time that you can go and visit shops and do certain activities. For example, I think that the shops in Animal Crossing close at like 8 p.m. in my time. After that, I can't go and do shopping or anything. And also like just, the environment, right? It's dark for the rest of the night until the next morning. And I know that you can go island hopping and you can find different insects and fish and whatnot depending on the time. But I don't know, it's a good little indicator that makes my brain kind of go, okay, it's time to go to bed. Look, like the stores are closed. There aren't that many villagers out. You should probably go to sleep. And obviously there are other factors that could keep you up. Like, okay, so I can't do anything in Animal Crossing, so I'll just play something else. And those are things that, you kind of just have to control yourself and you kind of just have to have that discipline. But this is a good way to get into that mindset, I guess. Don't get me wrong, like I'm not perfect. I still stay up way too late on the weekends and just gamble on Tower Unite.
Silk milk, or what are you talking about?
I'm sorry, maybe I misheard.
You never milk a worm before?
What did I just hear?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just a good little thing that's helped me create somewhat of a healthy balance.
We right here in front of Barney's and no.
The next habit that video games have kind of helped me stay on top of is reading. I love reading, but I find that I don't read as much as I would like nowadays. I write for my job, and I also have to do a lot of reading and writing in school. And so sometimes after a long day, the last thing I want to do is pick up a book. But fortunately, visual novel games have been a great way to stay on top of reading when I don't necessarily want to. I know they're not everybody's cup of tea, and I'm actually fairly new to them, but I've recently picked up the Ace Attorney trilogy. They've been a ton of fun. When you have your standard single player like story games, right? You can kind of get a gist for the story, just like you can watch the cutscenes as if you were watching a movie. Sometimes while you're playing, there's dialogue that's happening that contributes to the story, and it is that more like passive way to enjoy that. But with visual novel games, I feel like you have to be reading everything, otherwise you will miss something. And I think that's the whole point of the games, right? You are reading. It's called a visual novel for a reason.
Stop crying. It won't do any good. And anyway, you have a lot of work to do starting right now.
I thought about just making habit number 4 kind of like an honorable mention, because it's revolved around just like one particular app. It's not really a game. So at my last job, we used this thing called Habitica, and it's basically just like a task management website / app, whatever you want to call it, with RPG game-like elements. It's basically a way to make checking off a list more fun. The layout is like an RPG game, right? You have your character and you create them, and you join a guild with, in my case, I joined a guild with my coworkers, and we use the app to track our work tasks, right? So you go on quests and you fight monsters, and you can upgrade your weapons, earn experience, you earn gold. And the way that you do this is by completing tasks that you set for yourself. The cool thing is that, depending on the task, like say I had a really long article to write that day, right? I would put it in and I would set the difficulty. You can set your own difficulty. So I would set it to hard, right? If it's something that took a lot of research, that took a lot of time, you get experience and gold depending on the difficulty, which is really cool. You can also unlock these little eggs and you can hatch them and they turn into little companions, and then you can also upgrade them to mounts. And it just was awesome. It had a whole leveling system, and it had a weapons shop, an armor shop. They did like seasonal armors and stuff. And so it really motivated you to want to like get shit done so that you can get these cool things. And just like the sleeping one, this kind of does take some commitment on your part, because you could easily just put in a bunch of tasks and then just complete them, and there's no way for the app to know if you're lying or not. So you have to be honest with yourself. But it is a great way to just motivate you if you are someone that struggles with just getting things done. I know that I do. It's been a huge help. I actually still have that app on my phone, and it's cool to put in like chores or personal projects you have at home. You can do that as well. Like I said, I just wanted to share these things with you guys because I found that it's helped me kind of have a healthier relationship with my gaming habits and then with my other habits. And hopefully some of the stuff is useful. I don't know. It's just a video that I've been wanting to do for a while now, and I thought, why not? And with that, thank you so much for watching. This is a different video from what I usually make. If you happen to stumble across any of my other videos, you'll see that. Hopefully you enjoyed. I hope you get something out of it. And if not, thank you for at least listening to my rambling, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.
Nighty nighty. Ah, spaghetti. Ah, ravioli. Ah, mamma mia.